Anne Ruston is a Liberal Senator. She's also the Minister for Women's Safety, and she's going to be somebody who's going to pop up a lot as a campaign spokesperson for the government. She joins us now before we finish up tonight. Senator, Minister, nice to talk to you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, you know how this works, where it's a mixture of mop-up, it's a mixture of clean-up, and it's a mixture of heavy hits as well. Let's deal with the Prime Minister versus Albo today. Obviously, you're going to conclude, as I will, that the Prime Minister's performance was a lot cleaner, crisper, and more direct. But how are you going to respond in the campaign to the Twitter hate, the talking points hate, and a lot of the media narratives that are going to try to be thrown at the government that has almost nothing to do with what the Prime Minister's said?
Well, I mean, the obvious thing that we've got to do is we've got to get out there and we have to prosecute the fact that, as a government, we've got a really strong track record, whether it be on jobs, a strong economy, debt and deficits, and also the fact that that we have a plan for the future. We've got a really strong plan for the future, a strong economy that affords all those things that Australians rely on, the essential services, the health, making sure that we're funding Medicare. We've got a really, really strong record. And I think first and foremost, Australians actually want to hear what it is that we're going to do for them. And we've got a really strong platform to build on that because we've done it over the last few years. We've brought Australians through a once in a lifetime pandemic with the strongest economy, one of the strongest economies in the world. So I'm really looking forward to the opportunity to go out there and actually talk to people about how it affects them, and make sure that we actually fight this election on what's important to Australians.
Day one, what's the biggest lie that's already been peddled by Labor and their mates?
Well, I think the greatest lie is this fact that they actually have a plan. They've gone out there and they've tried to convince Australians with a whole heap of motherhood statements that they actually have a plan for the future. Well, they don't, because they're not telling us how they're going to deliver it and they're not going to tell us how they're going to pay for it. So in the absence of that, you can only conclude that they're going to revert to their usual ways of, higher taxes, higher deficits and an economy that's weaker. I mean, we have a clear choice here. We can have a strong economy with a strong team, which I think the coalition puts forward, or we can have a weak economy and a weak leader, which is what's been offered on the other side. But I think probably the thing that's hit me most today in terms of the most, terrifying thing is Adam Bandt running around saying that if Mr Albanese manages to form government, that he is somehow going to be sort of the deputy leader or the leader in waiting. I mean, the fact is we don't even need a hung parliament for the Greens to hold this country to ransom. Every single day under a Labor government, Mr Albanese will have to be doing a deal with the Greens to get any legislation through. So I think that's the thing that should be scaring Australians more than anything else.
I'm with you. Senator, Minister Anne, thank you so much. We'll talk to you again throughout the campaign.
Thanks, Paul.